Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. You talk about Wall Street, we talk about corporate America. The reality is there are few African Americans who sit on boards of directors or also senior executives of these companies. In many cases, they're run still today, 2019, by white men. In Congress, Congressman Gregory Meeks of New York has launched a bill called the Improving Corporate Governance Through Diversity Act of 2019. It will require public companies to disclose the gender, race, ethnicity, and veteran status of the board of directors, their nominees, and senior executive officers. And this is critically important because for a lot of these companies, they don't want you to know exactly what's going on. Joining us right now is Congressman Gregory Meeks. So, Congressman, why is this important? Why did you say a bill is needed for this to happen?
Because people were not revealing who was on their boards, who was in their C-suites, and the diversity wasn't there, is not there. And many people who are investing money, they want to make decisions based upon information. So now they know that if someone is not diversifying, they may not want to invest their money in these companies. And we've got to make sure, and it makes good business sense for these businesses to have people in the C-suites and the board of directors, because their businesses should be doing business with people that look like America. And America includes people of color, women, and it should be veterans. And now, we've had success in making sure that everybody understood. In fact, the Chamber of Commerce has even endorsed this bill.
I was at Andrea Hoffman's Silicon Valley Cultural Shift Conference in New York a couple of years ago, and that was a brother who works with in the state of New York, and he said what they do is they question potential money managers as it relates to African Americans and others who are working in their offices, who are on the investment side, the banking side, the bond side, the legal side, because their deal is if you have largely white folks who are coming saying, let's invest the state's money, he said they want to ensure that other folks are participating in this process.
That's absolutely right. You know, when you look at like city pension funds, which is basically taxpayer money, that people want to make sure that people who are investing those funds, number one, that they reflect them also, and the places where they're investing them, there's diversity in those groups and those companies. And Wall Street needs to change in that regard. Oftentimes I would go visit Wall Street and try to find what their diversity was like. And I've had CEOs can't find anyone, or at one case, they went and brought a receptionist because that was the only person that they could find. And so if someone like me, who's a member of Congress, can't find out or don't know because they can't post it, then how could an investor? And that's why we put this bill together and worked hard over a period of time. It was building and trying to make sure that we have something that we can get passed. And I know this bill will pass the House. We've got a Senator Menendez is sponsoring it in the Senate side. We've got Republicans that are looking at it also, because it was significant that we got, for example, the NAACP that supports this bill. As I indicated, the Chamber of Commerce support this bill. So it's a bill that we think that we'll be able to put on the president's desk and see whether he signs it or not.
The thing that really jumps out on this, and again, for people who don't really pay attention to all this sort of stuff, is I think back to Maynard Jackson when he was mayor of Atlanta. I'm reading the biography of Robert Holmes about him right now. And that was one of the issues when he became mayor. When he called the banks in, he said, look, the city is putting money into your banks. Y'all better go find some black folks to put in your boards of directors. And many of them, they were upset, they were angry, and they said, oh, we don't know any blacks who even qualified. He said, well, we're going to pull our city money out of your banks. And the reality is, when you think about a city like New York, significant black and Hispanic folks who live there, who also work, this is where you leverage your power to force change. The reason Atlanta is the city it is today for black business is because of Maynard Jackson, followed by Andrew Young, followed by Maynard Jackson, followed by Bill Campbell and Shirley Franklin and Kasim Reed. They have used political power to force economic change.
Absolutely. I just came back from Atlanta, and to see still what they're doing now around the universities, whether it's Spelman in particular, which I was visiting, and see what's happening there with some of the same groups that started around Maynard Jackson's time. And now what we're saying to financial institutions, when you diverse those boards, and we have individuals, for example, making sure that we have community Reinvestment Act that we're going to modernize. They know to make sure there's investments that's being done in every community, but communities that need development. They know to make sure that small business loans are going to diverse individuals, minority businesses, so that they have access to capital. They also understand the needs and concerns of various communities, where if you don't have them on your board, then you don't know that these banks will invest in certain areas. So that's why this is significant. And that's why, especially when you talk about city and state pension funds, we've got to, they need this information so they can say that we're not going to invest. One of the ways that we was able to, for example, going way back to get the end apartheid in South Africa, was saying that we knew that there was no folks there, so that was a disinvestment because we didn't like what was going on. Well, with the pension funds, now we can say to companies and to banks that if you're not diverse, if we don't see that, we're not going to invest any money into your facility, into your institution, and then that will have a substantial effect on them, because a lot of the banks, the way that they survive is based upon public pension funds. And so without them, they will not be able to receive the kinds of rewards financially that they have for managing those funds.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate this bill. Hopefully it gets passed in the House, in the Senate, and Trump signs it, because it is vital when it comes to information, and information is power. Congressman Gregory Meeks, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Now, calling all HBCU alumni, students, and leaders, you can enter the Ford Motor Company HBCU Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on their long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. Now, the winning program will receive a grant of up to $25,000 to implement their proposal. The deadline to apply is March 31st, 2019. Now, we want you to go to FGB.Life. That's FGB.Life for more info and to apply. It should be, of course, you see right there, FGB.Life. Okay, now Ford goes further in our community. So again, you can pick up $25,000. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.